Hello, friends and neighbors of the Bronx, and welcome to Bronx Talk. The sub-freezing temperatures are getting a little warmer, and in a little more than a month, I promise it will be spring. Along those lines, every year for the past 31 years, now the 32nd year, at the end of February, the borough's parks advocates get together to speak up at the annual Bronx Parks Speakup, which is coming up this year on Saturday, February 28th, at Lehman College. So tonight, we join them in advocating for Bronx Parks with two parks leaders who will be there on Saturday the 28th. Please join me in welcoming back to Bronx Talk the Deputy Director of the Cortlandt Park Alliance, Christina Taylor. Nice to have you with us.
Great to be here.
Thanks for joining us. And the Deputy Director of Programming at the Bronx River Alliance, who's also part of the Bronx Coalition for Parks and Green Spaces. You welcome back also, Daniel Rannels. Nice to see you. And I'm going to say right at the top, and we're going to get started, but for fairness, Christina knows I am a member of the Cortlandt Park Alliance Board of Directors. So if you want to know if I'm really a parks advocate, the answer is yes. I am a very serious parks advocate. I'm just laying the groundwork before we get started. So, Christina, let's just talk about the Park Speakup. Let's start in general. Why is this a good thing, and why do you and, of course, the Alliance participate aggressively and actively and enthusiastically?
It's a wonderful annual event. We get together with other park organizations, and about 500 people from the community come out and join us. So it's a great opportunity for networking, for learning about your local park and what the groups are up to, and for learning some new skills and figuring out how to get more engaged.
Do you get the sense that the public that comes now, again, you're talking to me, and I'm on the board of the Alliance, but do you get the sense that the general public really learns a lot at these things? Does it work out?
I think so. I believe so. Yeah, we've actually had a lot of park groups that have grown out of coming to the Speak Up. There's an opportunity to learn how to form a new group and how to get involved. So definitely.
And so, obviously, Pelham Bay Park is the largest park in the city. Cortlandt Park is third. We have the big parks, of course, the big things like the Bronx River. But I'm thinking about a lot of people in neighborhoods who are thinking about, my playground, which is a city park. Those get represented and addressed as well, we assume.
For sure, yeah. We try to represent all different sizes of organizations and ways to get involved.
Daniel, it's a river.
Yeah.
Is it parkland? Is the whole thing parkland all the way down to the outlet there in Soundview? Where does the Bronx River and parks come together or not come together?
Well, technically the river, I think, is maintained and operated by a state agency, DEC.
Right.
But all of the parkland around it, all of the facilities are owned usually by the New York City Parks Department, and we work hand in hand with them for hundreds of acres. Soundview Park alone is 200 acres.
That's a good point, yep.
And, yeah.
Have you been to Speak-Ups before?
Yeah. I work with the planning committee.
He said knowingly.
And, yeah.
Yes.
And so at least 6 of them I've helped support. It's a huge community of volunteers and advocates to make this happen.
What's important about it for you?
I've learned that it's the only group of its kind in New York City. I think there's like 32 years now, right?
This is our 32nd year.
32nd year. 32 years of people coming together. And what's really important is folks who care about their playground and folks who run, nonprofit conservancies come together with the New York City Park staff. So, you can talk to the people about a specific problem, find out how to get it resolved, find out if you need funding for it, and maybe even find out how you can apply for funding from a city or a foundation agency.
Well, this is really an aside, and we're going to look at. We're going to put up the list of all the different breakout sessions that there are. But it occurred to me when I saw 32nd year. This is the 32nd year of Bronx Talk. So we started. I guess there was a little energy in the 90s. Although the Speak Up was first in February, we didn't start Bronx Talk until October. Anyway, let's take a look at the list. We have a list of all of the the breakout sessions. And I'm just doing this to make sure that people can say, well, wait a minute, maybe this is something we want to really encourage it. Activating Bronx Parks through NYC, the Green Fund, getting from Greenway to Waterfront, gateways and bridges of the Harlem Riverfront Greenway Plan, the importance of community gardens, lowering the temperature with nature, prioritizing parks for the future, meet our urban forest stewards, which is really a revelation for a lot of people because they think the forests are just there and that's how they are maintained, but there are people involved. Pelham Bay Park Access Study, public input workshop, listening with the Harlem River. I'm not sure what that means, but I guess people who attend will find out. And this was just the funniest thing of all, build your own indoor worm condo. So I don't know if I want to put you on the spot and ask you about that. What about these these workshop panels and these breakout sessions that are useful? Do you attend? Do you host them? What do you do? And I'll ask you the same question.
Every year is a little different. Sometimes I do host them. I'm not hosting any this year, but I will be attending a few of them for sure. And we try when we're planning to come up with a variety so there's something that will interest everybody.
Excuse me. Are they well attended? Do you see the same people, or do you say, wow, I'm so glad so-and-so is here, or a new group is here?
There's new faces every year at Speakup, which is really nice, and there's definitely the regulars who come every year, which we appreciate too, but so it's a good mix.
Daniel, you are involved in the environment and obviously with the River Alliance, the Greenway and all that. Just talk to me about maybe one of the getting from the Greenway to the waterfront, those kinds of things. What happens at these breakout sessions that we want to tell people about that's really worthwhile and life-changing, parks changing, important for the Bronx?
You get to learn about the planning that's involved in how greenways are built. Sometimes there's a park under the High Bridge that you probably don't even know about. High Bridge, and it runs up to Roberto Clemente State Park. So you'll learn about these connections, but then sometimes there'll be a connection missing. So how do you get from your home to a waterfront park that you might not know exists?
Here's this, I'll ask stupid questions, but here's the stupid question of the day. Why is this important? And I'll add to it, you mentioned that this is the only borough that has this. What about the Bronx makes this worthwhile and put so much into it to make it happen?
Yeah, the Bronx.
You'll get the same question in a second.
It's interesting because the Bronx has the most green space of any borough in New York City.
It's the borough of parks.
However, equitable access to those parks is not. It's not consistent over the Bronx. So you talk about the High Bridge area, your access to like a major park like Van Cortlandt Park or Pelham Bay, it doesn't exist. You'd have to take a train. So advocating for the green spaces that you have or the green spaces that you want. So along the Bronx River and the Harlem River and other rivers, advocates have come together to purchase land to turn into parkland.
You and I the three of us were talking before. Daniel is a bicyclist and he's an enthusiast. And even in this weather with snow all over the place, yes, I think he's a little nuts, but he is out there in his bicycle, not only in the cold, but with the streets all full of snow. How are we doing with bike lanes now? And I'll give you, if you look at Marshall Loop Parkway, for example, used to be wider, now it's narrower. Bailey Avenue is narrower, but I don't see a lot of. Now, of course, in the winter you're not going to see. But I don't see a lot of bicyclists on there, cyclists on there. How do we balance it? How do we make it work for everybody, including people who do drive cars?
I think it's been weighted towards people who drive cars.
There's no question about it.
You have big giant parking spots. Your stuff usually gets shoveled first. I think there's. DOT's done an amazing job because sometimes the Department of Transportation will have the ability to move quicker than other agencies. So Marshall Loop Parkway is an example where the greenway along Mosholu Parkway is less than ideal. So
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And so we're also in another coalition called Play Fair for Parks, asking for more funding for parks to do this maintenance. And as far as development, there's a push-pull. Sometimes in New York City, bike lanes are put in and taken out. Sometimes they're put in and they stay in and people adjust to them. And it's a conversation with community boards, people who drive cars, people who drive bikes.
I really appreciate your statement about Mosholu Parkway and explaining that the DOT was ahead of the curve on this, because they put the bike lanes, and I'm on Mosholu Parkway often enough, not only walking but sometimes biking and driving. But I don't see a lot of people using them, and it does take up a lot of space, and traffic backs up. It's
Traffic is another conversation.
Yes,
but there's
absolutely.
there's things like induced demand, like the more lanes you have, the more cars you'll have, and then you also have to think of where the lanes end. So if you have 3 or 4 lanes and you end up in a 2-lane road, there's going to be traffic or contention somewhere.
Yes,
and,
of course.
And I'll note an interesting thing, especially with the Southern Boulevard bike lane. There's no sidewalk along the botanical gardens.
Okay.
And people have started using the bike lane as the sidewalk because there's no sidewalk. So you learn new things, like people would actually want to walk in places or bike in places if the infrastructure was there.
I had an unfortunate experience stepping off a curb in Manhattan without realizing the bike lane was there. Happily, the cyclist didn't get hurt, neither did I, but I learned my lesson that, if it's like a roadway, you got to really be careful.
Yeah.
Christina, let's just talk about the park a little bit, and what at the Speak Up do you expect is going to happen with the park? You're going to have a table, and what kinds of things you're going to tell people about?
So I think one of the most popular activities that we have at Speak Up is the tabling room. So there's one large room with about 30 organizations tabling. So it's a great opportunity to go around, talk to people, do some networking, and learn about what's happening in all the different parks. So yeah, all of us will have tables at the event, and we'll be talking about our programs.
You've been around the Parks Department and our park, of course, for a very long time. Do you find that when you see other people's stuff, you're like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe we ought to do that.
Yeah, definitely. That's how a lot of us get our ideas.
Get your ideas from. And is there, again, I don't want to put you on the spot, is there an idea or something that came up that you remember came up out of a Speak Up? There probably is. And if she
Probably
doesn't
is. I
come
don't know
up
if I
with it,
remember
no.
anything specific,
Yeah.
but for sure, I definitely take a walk around and look how people are promoting their programs.
I want to engage both of you in this very fundamental thing before we talk about each of the park and the alliance as well, and that's the notion of funding. I have asked every elected official, every city official who's come on the show, can we get to 1% funding? What has been a noticeable lack of either activity or development at Van Cortlandt Park, because now, I don't know, what are we down to, 6.06% or something? We still can't, or 0.6, I guess. We can't, we can't get to where we want to be.
Yeah.
So how has it impacted the park?
The main thing we see in the park is definitely we have a decrease in staff and a
Decrease in staff.
Yeah, there's less staff and there's less equipment. For example, when we just had the snowstorm, to have a working vehicle with a plow is more challenging than one would think. A lot of times we only have one garbage truck for the park, and if that garbage truck breaks down, we have nothing to pick up the garbage. So really the fact that we aren't able to replace vehicles as we need and get new equipment is a big challenge.
As someone who's obviously involved, and I go to Van Cortlandt Park a lot, You guys are brilliant because the general public right now, of course, the winter is a different time, but the park really I know you all work very hard. So when you say staff, were staff laid off, or it's a matter of you couldn't bring in seasonal?
We can't bring in as
seasonal
many
staff?
seasonal, yeah. And the staff that we have is extremely dedicated, and you would never know, but they're overworked. They're exhausted. It's not fair what they're being put through.
Wow. So that's one thing, and then equipment. Daniel, what is the impact of the fact that we didn't get to 1% mean for the Bronx River Alliance and the other things you're involved in?
Yeah, I mean, we work closely. We work in the same building with folks on the parks lines, and we have volunteer events. So we have nonprofit staff who lead volunteer events to clean up the park. So we try to work in tandem with the Parks Department, but we still hear from people that, especially in the heavier seasons like spring and summer, there's trash left around. You need more people to empty the bins. We need more bins themselves, and I would echo everything that Christina said.
Of course, the Bronx River is, for what this borough is named, we may as well take care of it.
Yeah.
But the Bronx River also has undergone some development over the years that we've been doing the Speak Up and we've been doing Bronx Talk. Where is it at right now conditionally? Because of course it was improved all along the way. We had the first beaver was named Jose, if I remember correctly, after Congressman Serrano. Where are we at from that point? Are we still doing better, or is it frustrating because obviously there's pollution? There could be, the river is so long, there could be garbage at any particular point. Where are we at? How do you view that point to this point historically?
I think there have been great improvements along the river. I know that we have trash booms set up. There's a big trash boom maintained by the New York City Department of Environmental Protection at Cortlandt Park. So we do see the trash that does end up in the river, but it's not getting stuck on the sides or it gets cleaned. There still is pollution concerns from broken sewer lines or other issues in Westchester, in the Bronx, and then below 182nd Street, we have combined sewer overflows, outfalls. So when there's a heavy rain, the river is automatically polluted, just like many other waterways in big cities.
Of course. A little funding could help infrastructure-wise, presumably, and staff to do all of those jobs.
Yeah, and it's,
she's nodding yes, too. Go ahead,
and it's along the entire watershed. It's not just along the river, because when it rains heavy, and you've got a impermeable surface, the water then has to go into our sewer system. But if that water could just drain in place, drain through permeable asphalt or through additional green infrastructure like trees or soil, that'll reduce the burden and that'll end up with a cleaner river.
I want to get to each of you. I really want to talk about Van Cortlandt Park and the Bronx River. And this is deliberate because I remember during the pandemic, Van Cortlandt Park, as I lived near there, is the only place you could go. And our parks were so important then. So if you look at what our lives were like during the pandemic and, everything was shut down, the only thing you could do was go to the park. Seems to me that's the priority. It's almost like the foundation. That's Gary's advocacy. That would you put commentary underneath that. So let's start with what you do to maintain the park and things that you do that are important. Let's talk about interns.
Yes.
Talk about the internship program, which is so wonderful. I've seen it in action. I've seen the interns, and it's great for them, and of course, it's great for the park. Go ahead.
So we run 2 high school internships. We have our Urban Eco Teens program, which we hire about 24 high school students who work with us for 7 weeks during the summer, and they do restoration work throughout the park. So they get to do a little forest restoration, some wetland. They put on waders, get in the water, and remove water chestnut. They do some trail work, so they get a little taste of everything. And then we also run a garden to market internship. We have our learning garden in the park, and those interns, we usually hire about 6 of them. They help grow vegetables at the Learning Garden, and then they run a youth run farm stand.
And so that goes like semester through the school year and all that kind
So
of
both
stuff.
those are summer internships, and then the Garden to Market, there's the opportunity to continue after school through the fall.
One thing you did not mention, which I know because I was there with our friend Noel, there were Lehman College students also working on the enslaved burial ground and all that. So again, this is where people want to go. If they want to be interns, what do they do?
So next week, I'm going to be putting up the application on our website.
Oh,
so if
there
you
you
go to
go.
vancortland.org, all the information will be there. We'll be hiring high school interns for that. We'll be hiring college students to be crew leaders, and also we'll be opening for seasonal positions.
Okay, so on Gary's good list, he's going to check each one of these. It's great. What does 26.2 in 26 mean? They said, Gary, make sure you talk about 26.2 in 26. What is that?
So
Because this is 2026.
yep, this is 2026,
Okay,
and
I'm marking it
if
down.
you run a marathon, it's 26.2 miles, but we're going to give you the rest of the year to run the marathon. Personally, I can't run a marathon in a day, but I could do it over a year. So
Oh, I see.
we're
I
going to be
see.
launching a new campaign where we're going to be encouraging people to walk, run, hike, skip 26.2 miles in the park during the rest of the year.
You know that I walk in the park
Yes.
plenty.
So you could do that for sure.
So what do? You go through it, and then when I go around the parade grounds or
Yep.
maybe up into the woods sometimes.
We'll give you some options of different routes you could take if you want, or you can make up your own routes, and then at the end you just fill out a form telling us what you did.
And the key is to get to 26 miles.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Who knows how many, I could show you what I did this week, but I want to keep going. Family Fun Day. What is Family Fun Day?
So Family Fun Day is an annual event. This year it will be on Saturday, April 25th from 1 to 4 p.m. Indian Fields with the Woodlawn section of Van Cortlandt Park. And we have a lot of fun activities for the whole family.
Do we know what the date is yet? Not yet?
Saturday, April 25th.
April 25th. And you brought up, that part of the park. A lot of people don't realize that's part of Van Cortlandt Park.
Yep.
Must be a challenge to manage that along. So you're based, around the golf house and all that, but it must be a challenge to manage that because it's.
It is.
over
It's all the
there.
way over there, and there's 3 highways that cut through the park.
I was
and-
going to say another example of how highways cut through our neighborhoods. Yeah. So it is, but it's all managed through the same systems. Et
It's
cetera,
all
et
this,
cetera.
yep, same park staff. Yep.
Another thing is Juneteenth.
Yeah, we'll have our annual Juneteenth celebration that is growing
I
larger
love
and
that.
larger
I took
each
these
year.
Juneteenth pictures, by the way. Go ahead.
So we'll be doing it on Friday, June 19th, and we're switching it up a little bit. We'll be starting with a libation ceremony and African drumming at the burial ground, and then we'll be heading over to the museum. We'll have some food available, and then we'll have more performances at the museum.
It's so inspirational and so exciting. And so before we get back to Daniel, I'm going to ask about one more event, which is
The big one.
the big one, the Philharmonic, the New York Philharmonic. Every year, do we know how many years? It's many years.
It's many years. I mean, I think it's the entire time I've been here, so a couple
Yeah.
decades.
And they come and it's obviously a free concert and everybody brings the lawn chairs.
It's a great
You want
event.
to say something? It is a
Yeah.
great event.
So-
Other than that, what else do you want to say?
It's going to be on Tuesday, June 9th, so we haven't advertised that yet, but yeah, it'll be that evening.
It's going to be exciting. Before we get back to Daniel, what keeps the park going? What is it? I mean, it's you and of course my friend Stephanie and all the people who work on it. But what really? You go into that park and it's clean. You say, wait a minute, who cleaned all this? It's huge. How many acres? But what makes it work?
I mean, I think it's that everybody loves that park, right? You're inspired once you're inside that park. You want to do the best you can for it.
Yep. There's sports and every sport.
There's everything.
There's there's even the skate park, which is relatively new. There's a picture of it right there. All right, now Daniel, let's do a similar kind of thing for the Bronx River. What kind of things? We'll do the last question first. What keeps it going? What keeps
it going?
What keeps it being a proper a namesake for the borough of the Bronx?
The folks who have been advocating for 50 years, who are still around, and the folks who have been advocating for 40 years and 30 years and 20 years. The New York City park staff keeps it going. They do a lot of work. And our current community of folks who really care about it, they come out, they clean it, they plant in it, they plant trees, they plant shrubs, they weed the invasives. It's everybody coming together.
You know, what is interesting, and of course, Cortlandt Park, and we talked about 2 sections of it. Actually, there's more because it goes up north. I mean, you know, it's huge. But this really is a challenge.
Yeah.
But the advantage is you have all those neighborhoods all the way from, you know, Woodlawn and Marshalloo all the way down to Soundview. Everybody has a piece of the action when it comes to the Bronx River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 2 new groups who have formed, Friends of Shoelace, Friends of Starlight Park.
I had occasion to, over the, I guess it was in the fall, maybe before holiday time, to see Rocking the Boat.
Yes.
And you and I talked about it on the phone. For folks who've never seen Rocking the Boat, this is just an amazing organization. Why don't you fill in people, because I think it's really important.
Well, I don't work for them.
I
And,
know you don't.
And
I know you
so
don't.
they have,
but it is on that river.
They have environmental and rowing internships and tracks. They've got a kelp farm that they're growing out there near the mouth of the river, and they have free after-school programs. You walk into their lobby, you'll see the first boat they built, and they have a shop in the back. So the students learn how to cut the wood, shellac
Building the
it.
boats. Young Bronx people building the boats, and I will say that they also have an event where you can get on a boat and go into Central Park, apparently. Invade their lake over there.
Yeah.
All right. You have internships as well.
Yes, we have our EELS program, which is a paid high school internship in collaboration with Lehman College. That's about 12 months long, and you can check our website for more information. And we have a partnership with Fannie Lou Hamer Freedom High School during the summer called Bobcats.
The Bronx River Assembly is on March 5th.
March 5th, free event, just like Bronx Park Speakup. Please join us.
There you go.
Yeah.
Christina, let's let you get the final word. Make a sale. Why should people come to the Bronx Park Speakup?
It's an amazing event. It's an opportunity to learn more about every park in the Bronx and to show your support. And there's free lunch. Thank you to Con Edison.
Oh, free lunch.
We should thank Con Edison.
Yeah.
There you go. Listen, guys, thank you so much. Daniel, you want to make a pitch to people to come by and see? We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, come to Speak Up. You'll learn a lot. You'll meet people who really care about the parks and the environment. February
28th, Saturday the 28th at Lehman College, beginning 11 o'clock in the morning. You can have breakfast first and then get over there. There's the information. Christina Taylor from the Cortlandt Park Alliance. I'll see you around, I'm sure.
Sure.
Daniel, maybe we'll bike together sometime.
Yes,
That'd be
let's
fun.
do it.
Thank you so much from the Bronx River Alliance. That concludes our program, my friends. We want to thank our great producer, Ray Pagnucco. He works so hard also, as does our Bronxnet production and editing crew. And it's always about you. It's the people of the Bronx and our parks, right? We were named after the river, for goodness sake. See you next week. Goodbye.